Let's see if it starts pulling up. It should. Look right there.
The video.
Yeah. Let's see if it starts pulling
Looks
up.
like it's working.
It should.
Excellent. Okay, now I just need to send this to everyone. I do also need to mute this so it's not making noise. But
I'll
it's
do
not
this. If you want to press right there, that'll turn your mic on. So whenever you're ready to like start going,
Okay.
just so people aren't getting residual audio right now,
Cool.
just press on right there, and
Awesome.
then the mic will turn on.
Amazing. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
And if one of y'all just wants to give it back to me after you're done, that'd be great.
Thank you
What's your name?
so much.
Chad, Roger.
I'm CJ. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. I used to go by CJ.
Almost.
Oh, right on.
What's your full name?
Carson J.
Okay, I'm Chad Joseph.
And you're also welcome to stay.
Two CJs.
Yeah, I gotta get some work done, but no, it's all good, dude.
Okay, I'll come find you.
Awesome. Okay,
Thank you.
have a good one.
Thanks for your help.
Yep.
Okay. No, I need to send a mail.
Give me the thumbs up when you're ready.
All categories. What is today? Prototyping. 10.
If you
Yes.
just want to start giving announcements, can you do pretty
Well, I
close.
want whoever's watching
Ooh,
to hear it.
hold on. Oh shoot. No, hold on. Send now. Okay. Okay.
Just waiting on the live streaming. We'll get started
Okay.
in a minute.
We're ready.
Oh, we're ready. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us for session 1 of our 3-part prototyping workshop series. We did this last year and it was a lot of fun and we got a lot of really great feedback from the students who attended. So we figured we'd run this session or this workshop every semester. It will provide value and opportunities and resources and information for students who are interested in starting businesses that require some type of thing, whether it's hardware or software. This is going to give you a great overview of how to conceptualize, build, plan, and do cool things with your prototype. Make sure you attend all 3 because they do build upon each other. And then in week 3, we're actually going to bring in people from the community who run manufacturing warehouses and fabrication labs and prototyping services that can come and talk to you about what they offer and how you can benefit from their resources and their services. So it's a lot of fun, it's great networking. And then we also have lunch at every session. So after the workshop, we're going to be bringing in lunch. We're going to feed you and allow you some time to network and maybe build a team. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce James, and then afterward I'm going to talk a little bit about some additional upcoming opportunities as well for you guys to get involved and to take what you're building here and apply it in a fun competition type of setting. So James Brown is a Polymath, Polyglot, and Principal Imagineer. He's a technology generalist with decades of senior level industry development experience and a unique ability to bring together different technologies to create novel solutions to problems. A person with only a hammer in their toolbox thinks everything looks like a nail. As a generalist, he looks at things from various angles and sees more opportunities and options than a specialist. James likes bleeding edge development and enjoys complex problem solving, research and development, product architecture, education and mentoring, technical writing, and technology vision. Let's welcome James.
I always feel bad when people read intros. It's like, okay, now I have something I have to live up to, right? All right, so let's talk about those. How many people know what polyglot and polymath mean, right? Is that like, those are odd words that most people don't know. So a polymath is a person with wide-ranging knowledge, so somebody who's a generalist, and a polyglot is someone who speaks multiple languages. So in my case, those are computer languages, so I write in a lot of different languages, so technically I'm a computer polyglot. And Principal Imagineer, most of you would associate that probably with Disney, but Imagineer is actually a word that was used about a decade before Disney even came along. So it just means somebody that is imaginative, comes up with new concepts, that sort of thing. So hopefully by the end of the session, you guys will all be Imagineers as well, right? Most of you probably came because you're Imagineers. I love this quote from Heinlein. It's I think it's a really good explanation of what generalists are. So it says, a human being should be able to change a diaper, plan an invasion, butcher a hog, con a ship, design a building, write a sonnet, balance accounts, build a wall, set a bone, comfort the dying, take orders, give orders, cooperate, act alone, solve equations, analyze new problems, pitch manure, program a computer, cook a tasty meal, fight efficiently, die gallantly. Specialization is for insects, okay? And that's kind of my feeling, right? People who are specialists are great at what they do, but they only do that one thing. And so I think generalists, especially in the entrepreneur kind of a world, specialists they don't generally do well, right? You need somebody who's a generalist who understands a lot of things, because as you get started, you're gonna have to deal with finance, and you're gonna have to deal with advertising, and you're gonna have to deal with customers, and you're gonna have to deal with a whole bunch of things. You can't just be that one person that's like, oh, I'm awesome at marketing. Cool, but you don't have any design experience, so how are you gonna get there, right? So that's why I love that quote. Oops, I hit the wrong button. All right, so today we're going to talk about what is a prototype, why do you need a prototype, and what features should you include in your prototype. So we'll jump right into this. And I'm going to hit the wrong button probably every single time. Okay, so what's a prototype? Somebody tell me what a prototype is. No reading the slide, that's cheating. What's a prototype? Come on, jump in.
It's like what you show your product on that's
Okay.
to be viewed by people
Okay.
before it's finalized.
Yeah, it's kind of a concept,
Like
right?
a wireframe
Right.
or a high fidelity
Mhm. Yeah,
design.
it can be kind of low def too, right? We'll talk about that today. Anybody else? What's a prototype? What?
First working model of an idea.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Proof of concept.
proof of concept, very good. Yep, those things are all prototypes, right? So prototypes, they perform a lot of different functions, right? We use them for a lot of different things. And so depending on what you're after, what phase you're in, what step you're in your process, you may have different kinds of prototypes. Your first prototype might be, here's my sketch in my notebook, what do you think, right? That's a prototype. Sketch in a notebook is a prototype. Everything up to, here's my first working model, go try this, go beta test this, right? Those are all prototypes. It doesn't matter. There's all different phases here, all sorts of different materials that you can use, from pen and paper to cardboard to metal to 3D printing to whatever you want, right? So prototypes are just a way of expressing your idea to someone else and saying, what do you think about this, right? And that someone else might be yourself. And we'll talk a little bit about that too. So what are some prototypes in different industries? What's an example of an agricultural prototype? This is a very interactive class, so it's going to be super boring if you don't answer questions.
How about a mousetrap? Is that agriculture?
Okay, absolutely.
Or a new combine?
Yeah, absolutely, right? Those are all prototypes that you might have, right? How about GMO plants? That's an MVP at one point in your process. That's probably not an MVP when you're trying to go to beta, right? It's like, hey, look at our YouTube video of our really cool drawings. This is our software, right? That might not be the right MVP at that point in your process, right? So that's going to change over time. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be functional, okay? I can build a prototype of a building out of foam core and paper and cardboard and tape and glue. Is that a viable building? Probably not. It's just a model of maybe what that looks like. Maybe I'm going to stick it in a wind tunnel and see what the wind does around it. Maybe I'm going to show it to people and go, would you live in a building that looks like this? It depends on what phase you're at, right? You need goals, okay? Goals are the most important thing, right? Okay? Goals are the most important thing. Don't build a prototype without a goal. How can you build a prototype without a goal? You have no idea what you're building. It's like, what am I doing here? There's no possible way to really build a prototype without a goal. You have to have some goal. So think about what your goal is. pocket along with a cut-off chopstick. And every time somebody said, oh, hey, can I get a meeting with you? Or, oh, hey, can I, take some notes or whatever? He would pull this thing out of his pocket and he would tap on it like he expected to have to do in his interface. For a while, he even carried some, essentially like a little mini tablet on top of it, so he could actually write stuff on the screen. This was his Pinocchio prototype. What was he doing with this prototype? What?
If it's actually something that we actually use.
Exactly, testing his own acceptance. Am I willing to use this thing? How big should it be, right? Am I carrying around something that's the size of a laptop? That's probably not gonna fit in my pocket really well, right? So this was his Pinocchio prototype for the Palm Pilot. This was the first, I'll call it functional prototype of the Palm Pilot. Probably a little bigger than you wanted to carry in your pocket, right? So this piece over here is the actual size of a normal Palm Pilot screen, and that's all the hardware that ran that Palm Pilot. So this was one of their functional prototypes. This is, okay, we can actually make this run. We can run code on it. We can see what it's like to tap on the screen and all that. But again, not going to carry it in my pocket, right? But it's a different prototype for them to get Super Soaker started, was from one of these nozzles. One of the things that he did in his prototype is he kept trying to build a pressure tank to hold the air pressure when you are, the water and the air pressure when you're trying to squirt. He tried over and over and over to build pressure tanks, and they kept rupturing. Finally, one day he realized, wait a second, there's already a pressure vessel out there, and they're really cheap. They're soda bottles. So he grabbed a soda bottle and stuck it on there. That was his prototype for his pressure tank eventually that worked. And that lasted all the way through to the real model, okay? These are not soda bottles anymore, right? But that design element lasted all the way through to production so that almost all Super Soakers have something that looks sort of like a soda bottle on them, because that was the thing that he found would work in that case. That's what he prototyped that with. All right. So, grab your piece of paper again. Time to answer another question. We'll give you a minute or so here to answer a couple. So, briefly answer question number 2 and question number 3. So, my MVP needs these features, and these are my goals for my MVP. So, figure out wherever you are in your process, either something you're actually working on, or if you want to come up with a pretend prototype, go ahead and do that and answer those 2 questions. What features do you need, and what are your goals?
I've registered. Yeah. She's interested to bring it. I've come this way.
Does everyone have a worksheet, or does anyone still need one?
But it was, actually, you mentioned like the minimum viable product, like, what's like what you're saying, like just the sort of that basic functionality, like being able to scan the QR code, and be able to have it in a place where people can connect with just as the internet, and then share it with people who are not owners.
It'll be hard, direct way, brush attachment, brush and G-shape, these kind of, like, that's the basics, but then we adjust collecting this for, right? For the current prototype, something for this week, it's waterproof. It'd be nice if it fit,
All right, looks like most people are done. We'll give you another couple seconds here to finish.
Just because I have to make
Of course, no. Things that And now, like you said, it's their style and
And we take a picture of it and we call it the first section.
They're just the top part. Instead of 6 inches.
No, that's tomorrow eve.
The one that I did was 6 inches.
All right, let's go ahead and move on here.
Which ended up being 8 inches.
All right, using your resources. Talk about resources for just a minute. So what are some resources that you have? Anybody, what are resources? What resources do you have? Yes. Okay, Google, very good. Internet?
Teachers, friends,
Very good, yep. Friends and family? Yes.
If you guys are students, you have the 3D printing labs and the machine shop.
Very good.
What did we talk to you about that?
I look up their website. I can direct you to that another time when we have to.
There's also the usability lab over in the CS building.
Okay, anything else? What else are resources? Anybody else? Yes.
The CS building has the usability lab and a lot of quick prototyping for software lab.
Very good.
Wait, what?
Very
Will you
good.
tell me a little
Okay.
bit more about what is that?
So we have friends and family, we have the internet, right? We have YouTube videos, right? There's a YouTube video for everything, right? Is there anything there's
Well,
not a
there's 3D
YouTube
printers
video
here
for?
as well as
Okay. So what are we going to use these for? What are we going to use these resources for? We're using them for ideas. We're using them for testing. We're using them for problem solving, right? Like, oh, I need to waterproof this paper. What do other people do to waterproof paper? Okay, let me go look that up. Let me see what other
That's
people
in the
do to
game as
waterproof
well.
paper, right? So I can solve problems by looking these things up online and finding out what are other people doing in a similar way to solve my problem. The one thing I would caution you about when you're looking for problem solutions is don't be too specific. Be a lot more generic when you're trying to solve problems. Let me give you an example of that. So I worked at Adobe for a while in the digital marketing side, and one of the problems that we had is we had customers who literally had teams of people within their company whose sole job was every day they went and looked at some subset of our reports because we had, I don't know, 80 or 90 different reports within the digital marketing suite. And so they would have a team of people whose job was to go look at 4 or 5 reports every day and come and tell them if there was something weird in that report, right? And, oh, I saw something anomalous here. Doesn't that sound like the sort of thing a computer should be doing, right? I mean, why do I have teams of people looking at reports? So we started trying to figure out, okay, can we create some sort of anomaly detection algorithm here that will just tell you, hey, I saw a weird anomaly on report number 75, right? Rather than having to have teams of people. So we started scratching our heads. So I worked on the research and development team, right? So we started scratching our heads saying, all right, how can we tell that something weird happened in a chart of overtime data, right? I have, visitors per day or orders or whatever it might be, right? So how can I figure out whether there's something weird going on? And so we're all scratching our heads, and guess what? The generalist guy, who has experience in finance, said, well, wait a second. There's technical analysis in finance where they have all these tools that will tell you, hey, something weird is happening with this stock, right? Because nobody can go look at thousands of stocks every day and try and find the one that's doing something funky, right? And so there's all this technical chart analysis that exists out there in the world. And so we started looking into that, and hey, surprise, guess what? Technical analysis on a chart doesn't care what the chart data is, okay? Doesn't matter if it's financial data, doesn't matter if it's stock market, foreign exchange, coin values, right? It doesn't matter what it is. And guess what? It also applies exactly the same way to digital marketing data. Surprise, surprise. So that's how we built this tool to go out and detect anomalies, is we used the chart detection algorithms that come from the finance world, okay? So when you're trying to solve a problem, don't go out on YouTube and say, How do I detect differences in marketing data in a chart, right? Because that's too narrow. So you need to broaden your scope and say, okay, how do I detect chart anomalies, right? And then you can find some algorithms that will help you. So be a little bit careful when you're problem solving and searching. Make sure that you broaden your search space to find the kinds of things that you need. So number 4 on your list is I have these resources. Take just a minute and write down the resources that you have available that are going to help you right now in terms of your prototype. Whether it's something you're really doing or something you have in mind, what resources do you have available? Friends, family, internet, Google searches, YouTube, whatever it might be, write down the resources that you have available or that you might use in order to solve the problems that you have. Take just a minute and do that.
What's that?
All right, looks like most people are caught up, so we'll move on here. The good news is the food is here. So when we get to the end of this, we've got food ready to go. All right, so let's talk about what we covered today. We talked about what a prototype is, why you need one, and what features you should include. So those are the things that we kind of covered today. And we have giveaways and we have rewards.
Yes, we're
So,
doing giveaways now.
Brianna's going to talk.
As long as you checked in for this event, you are on the giveaway randomizer that we will be getting ready in just a second. But I just want to make a couple announcements about our upcoming events and programs so you guys can run your calendars. Make sure that you attend the next 2 Mondays for this because as we mentioned before, each session builds upon the last and they're all really great. The cool thing about this workshop series in particular is that after you attend all 3, you can apply for up to $500 to fund your prototype. So we are making sure that as long as you checked in, we have your name, we know that you attended today. It's also good if you watched online too. Just make sure that you email me to let me know that you have watched the recording or that you attended online, and we'll make sure that you're all set that way. And then after the 3rd session, we will send you the link to apply for materials and supplies or credits to some of our partners off campus who have prototyping labs so that you can get funded to go ahead and start building that. I also wanted to bring up a couple additional programs and opportunities as well. We have a 3-part Seed for Startups program where you can apply for up to $2,500 in funding for your business. It is a 3-step process. The first step is just telling us what your idea is and you get a $5 Sodalicious gift card. The second phase is doing a 5-minute video pitch and submitting an executive summary, which is then judged by some of our mentors off campus who have successful businesses themselves and are part of Entrepreneur Association. And they provide feedback and will work with you to get up to $1,000 in funding. And then the 3rd phase is a live investor pitch in front of our Wolverine Fund students who are the judges, and they will award up to $1,500 for you for your business. So if you're interested, pick up that little green form, which is up there on the desk for you. It's called Seed for Startups. The next one is that next week on the 18th, we're having VentureCon. If you have a business idea or an existing business that you're running, you want to get feedback, you want to make sales, you can sign up for a free table to demo and sell your product. It's called VentureCon from 10 to 2 in the Hall of Flags on October 18th, and tables are still available for that. I'm also inviting people from the community, investors and mentors, to come and walk through, as well as all of the foot traffic that we already have built into the Hall of Flags, to come and meet with you. Did you have a question on that?
If you're not a student, I thought you could purchase.
Actually, we do have WeLift tables available, so that's for our women entrepreneurs in the community. So if you're not a student, you qualify through our WeLift program. Which kind of brings me to the next one, which is Polished. We're having a Polished event, which is meant for female students but we do have a female entrepreneur tabling session as well. Interested in finance, entrepreneurship, and leadership. We're going to have a lot of really amazing speakers. We welcome all of the ladies in this room to apply. There are flyers up at the table for that. And then lastly, October 31st, we're having a session on patents and trademarks and copyrights. So any IP considerations that you have for your business. For many of you who are prototyping things, you might have technology that is patentable. So you might be able to learn a little bit more about how to get maybe provisional patents set up or trademarks for your brand or your any copywriting questions that you have. Come with questions, because we're having a really awesome speaker who actually is a general counsel at UVU come and lead that session. So all of these flyers are up at the front. Make sure you grab those, and then we should have a giveaway ready to go momentarily, but we might maybe do that after you guys have had a chance to grab some lunch. Did I miss anything? Any questions? Okay.
Any questions, you guys? All right.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the link for the live stream going to be the same each week?
I don't believe so, because we'll be streaming on different YouTube channels and other things, so it should be different every week. But we would send out. Yeah.
So we will talk just a little bit about patents and stuff in week number 3 as well. So if you want at least a brief idea about patents and stuff, make sure that you come to week number 3. I mean, you should come to all 3 weeks anyway, because who doesn't want a chance at $500, right?
Yeah.
So next week we're going to talk about conceptualizing your prototype and some development resources that you might have. And then week number 3 we're going to talk about building your prototype, what are you going to do with your prototype once you build it, and what your next steps are. So in week 3 we have several local manufacturing prototyping companies coming in to the class, and so they'll bring some spiffs and stuff. So if you like cool little toys and things like that, be sure that you're here for that. But they're also available to talk to you if you have questions, or you want to just reach out to them and go, well, what would it cost me to build X? Or what do you think about Y? Or things like that. So those guys will be here on week 3 as well. So make sure that you come to all those sessions. And you want to do giveaway during food?
We're ready right now.
Okay, let's go and do the giveaway. We have some fun toys to hand out. So I love toys, right? I have a ton of toys on my desk. I have Play-Doh, I have Silly Putty, I have Legos, I have K'NEX, I have all kinds of stuff on my desk because they're just fun to play with, and you have an idea and you want to just kind of mess with it a little bit. They're great fun. So we have some Play-Doh giveaway thanks to the Entrepreneurship Institute. So who's doing the drawing?
Esteban is going to do the drawing. He's just separating all the names. It's one per line. So
Okay, all right.
we're getting them all separated.
All right, great. So we're going to give away a little bit of Play-Doh. We've got other giveaways the other weeks as well. So again, make sure that you come back. Sorry, those of you that are watching on the live stream, you don't get a chance to get free Play-Doh.
That's why you need to show up. Also, lunch is Chick-fil-A today. So we have Chick-fil-A ready in the conference room after we give away the Play-Doh. So it's another reason why you should attend in person for the great networking, for the food, and for the giveaways.
Can't get transmitted over the internet.
I'll just shove a Chick-fil-A in the camera, right? It'll show up, right? Just smell. We need smell-o-vision. Where's smell-o-vision? That's what we need. All right, any questions, you guys?
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
Stand up.
Part of the reason for doing this today is for you guys to have the opportunity to network with each other. You guys have already worked together a little bit building your prototype examples here, but talk to the other people at your table. Talk to the other people at other tables.
Oh.
Maybe there's somebody else that could be a help for you as well, okay? Oh,
One more thing before the giveaway happens. We've got an in-a-thon that we want to announce.
Yes, it's very exciting. After these workshops, on the 27th of this month, we will start a 3-part in-a-thon. So it'll happen simultaneously. There's 3 categories. We'll have a game jam, a products jam, and a design jam. And so with the game jam, it will be over the course of just a couple weeks. And at the end, we will have everyone get together, play the different games that people have developed, and then have different voting on the categories. And if you want to explain the others.
Yeah, and then the other 2 portions of it, which this will tie into as well, is, and Alex, is that in December that we're going to find the finalists? We're doing more of a long tail competition that can potentially feed into VentureCon. which will be is one of the big problems with school is that we work really well in our silos. Like everyone in business knows everyone in business, and everyone in CS knows everyone in CS, and everyone in design knows everyone in design. But what we wanted to do is piggyback off of this prototype session and actually build out some cross-functional teams, because maybe we can leverage each other's skills. And then when it comes to actually graduation and starting a business, you suddenly have access to skill sets that are going to be very necessary to start your business that you wouldn't have otherwise, whether that's an engineer, a designer, or someone that understands finance and starting something. So that's what the foundation of these bands are all about, and it will go into, like I said, this competition, building out these designs will feed back into the VentureCon at the end, and you can compete for those cash prizes and prestige and stuff. It'll be pretty cool. So take a chance to get to know everybody around, because there's a lot of different skill sets here right now.
Thank you. All right, who wants some Play-Doh?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are about to announce the winners. I want to get some excitement. Let's get a round of applause. We got our first winner of the green Play-Doh. This stuff is what dreams are made of. The winner is Tyler Nyland.
No.
Okay, so we got one. All right, our next winner.
By the way, obviously, if you need marketing help.
The next winner is Ethan Russell.
All right.
And the last winner of the $1,000.
$1,000 Play-Doh.
Is Jacob Wilden.
All right, there we go.
Sorry, food is in the conference room. Go ahead and fill your bellies.
Can I get a picture with my team over here?
You guys answer number 5 on your sheets, which is by next week I will, whatever, right? Figure out what you're gonna do by next week.